Thank you.
Taoiseach, Sinn Féin for some time now have been trying to get yourself, other government ministers and particularly the Minister for Health, James Riley, to set out in full the circumstances in which he appointed a founder and 50% shareholder of a private health consultancy firm to a position of chairman of the North, West and West Hospitals Groups. Now, as you know, the West North West Hospital Groups then awarded the potentially lucrative public contract to review and report on maternity services in that region to the same private consultancy firm in direct breach of guidelines. Now, despite me raising this with you, despite Teachta Ó Cuailnge raising it directly with the Minister for Health, there's still no full statement on this issue. And this flies in the face of a programme for government commitment, and I quote, "The government will pin down accountability for results at all levels of public service from ministers downward." And you go on to say you will cut back on the waste and political cronyism built up over the last decade. Now, there's no accountability in this issue. It's a scandal, but the government are drip feeding. Instead of coming in transparently, doing your duty and telling the Dáil what happened and allow us to make a judgment on that. So, to question it, how on earth can the founder and a 50% shareholder of a private health consultancy firm be appointed to chair a public body by your government and then be awarded a major public contract? And will the government publish the HSE review of how this firm was awarded the contract to examine maternity services in that region?
I understand, as I mentioned to you yesterday, Deputy Adams, the second question on today's order paper is a priority question by your own spokesperson, a competent man there, Deputy Ó Cuailnge, on health, is about that very issue. To ask the Minister for Health if he will set out in full the circumstances in which he appointed a founder and a 50% shareholder in a private health consultancy firm as chairperson of the West North West Hospitals Group, which body subsequently awarded a contract to said firm, if the potential conflict of interest was known to him when he appointed the person, and if not when he became aware of same, the date on which he became aware of the breach of the financial procedures of his department, the further steps he has taken since the resignation of the person concerned, and if he has considered his own position, to make a statement about. Now, if there are issues, that your own spokesperson has arising from that, well then he can follow through directly with the Minister for Health. But this question was down for a priority question by your own spokesperson today. Maybe you might communicate a little more clearly with him.
Sorry, Deputy Adams. Deputy Adams, please. Thank you.
Well, Taoiseach, if it wasn't so serious, this would be really, really bizarre. Flann O'Brien couldn't write it better. I was here when this confident man asked that question. It's interesting you read out his question in response to my answer. The Minister didn't answer it in full. That's why I raised it again. The Minister had answered Teachta Ó Cuailnge's question. I wouldn't be raising it here at Leaders. Now, what are Leaders' questions about? Leaders' questions are about the opposition getting answers from the Leader about this issue or other issues of grave importance. And this is about accountability mechanisms in our public services. The facts are very, very clear. A public contract was awarded to a private consultancy firm. The founder and 50% shareholder of that private firm was appointed to head the public health service, which gave the contract to the firm that he was a 50% holder in. Now, is that not wrong? He then resigned because of a conflict of interest. The review of the maternity services was withdrawn. All of this came drip feed. We raised this, it was raised in the Seanad, raised here by Teachta Ó Cuailnge, raised here with Michael Noonan, who told me he wasn't briefed and apologised to me privately afterwards that he wasn't briefed on this matter. So how is it possible that the Minister did not know when he appointed the chair that this person was the founder, director and joint owner of the DNF Health Partnership? How much public money was paid to them? Can you answer that, Taoiseach? What is the status of the report which recommends cuts to vital maternity services at Portiuncula and Ballinasloe and in Letterkenny? And will you assure those living in the West and North West that existing maternity services will be fully retained. And if I could just give you a wee bit of advice.
Sorry, Deputy, way over your
why,
time.
Taoiseach, can you just come in here or get the Minister to come in here and give a full statement instead of it being dragged out of you like this?
Taoiseach.
Yesterday, the question of maternity services was raised here, arising, as I said, from a number of high-profile tragic cases. It's right and proper that there should be an analysis of the standards, the integrity and the credibility of the service, as I said yesterday. Actually, when the question was raised by Deputy Martin, the terms of reference for that analysis were actually published. I was remiss in not giving you that. So the national strategy included the following issues: a population-based needs assessment with a review of current and future demand and activity. Excuse me, Deputy Adams. You are.
This is Taoiseach's questions. I can't
you are,
tell
Deputy
you what
Adams.
answer.
You are, Deputy Adams, and you said that the report. You said that the report. You said that the report was being prepared was recommending the closure of maternity services in the West and the North West. That's what you said. I'm giving you the terms of reference that were set out for the report, which do not refer in any way to the closure of any of the maternity services. These terms of reference, Deputy Adams, are published. They're available for you to read or for anybody else to read, and nowhere in those terms of reference will you come across a recommendation that they recommend the closure of services. Now, you mentioned how much public monies were spent on this report. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll have that figure sent to Deputy Adams. You've referred to the maternity issues. The question, I answered a question for you a fortnight ago, I think, where I said the Minister was treating this as a matter of great seriousness. The person recommended as chair subsequently resigned. The issues that are arising from the Minister's reply this morning that remain unanswered, I'll see that they're answered for you. Now, if Deputy O'Callaghan wants to send me his particular questions, I'll answer them for you, Deputy O'Callaghan. But if you're the leader, you mentioned about maternity services, you want to know how much is spent of public money on the report, I'll send that information to you, Deputy. And any other information you want, I'll send it to you as well about this matter. And in your own time, there are some questions that you can answer yourself that you seem reluctant to answer.
Deputy Claire Daly.